Okay, what I have here is a 2009 Dodge Ram 1500 pickup truck. Just where I get in and out of my seat, I guess just dragging out since the truck sits a little high. A bottom has been just pulling on that, pulling on that, pulling on that. 2 weeks ago the rip was only this big, but you can see just within the last couple weeks how much it has grown. And so I want to do something to take care of this so that it doesn't rip all the way out. Since it's actually not on the seam, it's in the cloth itself, I'm not for sure exactly the best way to fix it. I am definitely not an upholsterer. I've never done a job like this before, but I'm going to attempt to at least patch it the best I can. And so what I've done is I went to Joann Fabrics this morning and I bought a thing of ribbon. Just real thin ribbon is on clearance for 97 cents. I bought repair needles. I'm probably going to use one of these curved ones here that has a pretty big eyelet in the needle, so it'd be easy to thread. And I had no idea what thread to use, so I decided to go with this waxed button thread. It looks fairly thick and looks like it would hold up pretty good, but not for sure. Again, I've never attempted this before, not for sure how's the best way to do it. I talked to one upholstery shop and they wanted like $25 to do it and seemed a little uncertain about that, so I thought, you know what, it's got to be better than what it is now. I'm going to attempt to do something. So my thought is since this material here is thin, I don't want to sew into that and it just rip out. So what I'm going to attempt to do is I cut a piece of that ribbon off and I'm going to feed the ribbon inside and get it aligned in there to where I'll actually have something for the thread to bite into more than just that. So I will plan on feeding this in here. Can't really do it while I hold my camera. I plan on feeding this in there all the way underneath, and then when I go to thread, I will thread up through this and then through the cloth. We'll see how it works. I'll video some more as I work on it. Okay, so I've got this piece of cloth threaded back through there, and I've went ahead and I've threaded this curved needle with this waxed button ribbon thread, and I made the string probably about 2.5 foot long. I didn't want to be going through here really good and then all of a sudden end up with thread and can't finish the job, so I'd rather spend some time pulling it through each time than running out and having to rethread and start over. So what I'm going to try to do, hopefully you can see this pretty good. I have my lovely young daughter assistant now holding the camera for me. But what I'm going to try to do is, since I put this knot in the other end of this thread just like you typically would when you're sewing, I don't want that knot exposed up on top. So I'm going to attempt to, I'm going to pull this back out. I just wanted to kind of show you what I'm planning on doing, but I'm going to go ahead and thread the knot through the underside like that, so the knot will actually be on the inside of the cloth, and that will be hidden. And then I'm going to, so let me show you that again. I've got the knot threaded through here, so it's going to be on the underside. So when I feed this through, I will want it to be, actually that's not what I wanted. I wanted the knot to be, well, I can start on that side. So I will have the knot in here like this. Hopefully you can see okay. It looks like it's a little dark. I will have the knot on the underside of the cloth like that, so that it'll be hid and be actually tried to be pulling through. So what I'm going to do to get this placed where I want it, I've got that pulled through there. Now I'm going to feed my needle through, which this curved needle really makes this nice. I'm going to feed my needle through where I actually want that cloth to be pulled into. So I'm going to start down a little bit further than where the rip is at on the other side of this seam. About like so. Hopefully you can see where that come through. I'm going to start it back there, and then now hopefully what will happen is it will pull my cloth in there with my assistants and my fine assistant. Thank you, assistant lady. So now it's going to pull that through in there right where I need it, hopefully. Nice, it worked just as planned. It pulled it right in where I needed it to be. Okay, and then I don't want to put that all the way in there yet because I'm going to have to go through it a few times. So now I'm going to feed it back here somewhere past the rip. See, my rip is way back here. So I'm going to feed this back through here. And again, I'll have to stick my finger in on the inside to make sure it's going in where I'm hoping it goes in, and that's through the ribbon. Actually, I'm going to make it a little bit closer to the seam, so about right there. Feed it through the ribbon, and then now I'm just going to start feeding it through just like so. And if you know how to sew, which I learned in 8th grade, I'm 46 years old, I'm not the best at it, but then you can just continue to keep going through. Stick your finger through there, make sure you're not getting in your foam cushion. Bring it through. Bring it back out again where you want it. This curved needle really makes it nice. I'm glad I chose that because a straight needle would have been very difficult for this job. And I'm going to try to turn this under just a little bit so that the seam doesn't look so bad. So where you can see this cord's kind of frayed out right here, I'm going to try to turn that under just a little bit as I sew this up. And again, try not to make this look like a football. It may not look the best, but if I can at least prevent the tear from going any further until I do decide to do something different, I think I'll be in good shape. And I would probably be better off to put my stitches a little bit closer, but oh yeah, maybe I should have tightened it even more back there. A little too late, so if you do this, you might want to consider doing that. Actually pulling it tighter than what I did on that first little run there. And again, if I know that I'm getting underneath that ribbon, I think the outcome would be much better. Okay, so once you get to the end like this, then you can just find a spot and go underneath the thread itself. It doesn't matter if you go into the cloth or the seat or not, but basically just pull it through like that and then loop it back through here, and it'll tie a pretty good knot right there. You might want to do that a couple times just to make sure it stays, but definitely looks better than it did. So I'm happy with it as long as it holds up. If it doesn't hold up, back to the drawing board we go. another fabulous video by the master.